Alright, this is me, John Wiley. I did make a YouTube video about the Mandela effect. But this is my take on the Mandela effect. It's not that we're in a different universe. It might be we're in an altered timeline. And some of us who have a genetic predisposition, or maybe it's something in our genes, or maybe it's something in our blood, that causes us to be able to remember two timelines. The timeline that we come from when everything was original, like people have said Sinbad played a genie back in the 90s. I don't remember his genie. I remember Bazaz or something like that with Magic Johnson or something like that. I don't really follow basketball, but I do remember I Love Lucy, and I do remember that when Ricky said, "Lucy, you got some explaining to do," a lot of people remember that, and I think the reason why is because it could be in the genes. Maybe it's a birth defect. Maybe it could be a genetic disposition. It could be because people who were born with a disability that causes them to not be able to do that. It could be a number of things. That's the reason why. But I don't think we're from a different universe. It's a different timeline. A timeline where all that other stuff happened. And it's still going on today. The timeline has been altered just slightly enough to cause us to think that we're crazy. We have self-doubt, self-loathe, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's like that. I think what we're experiencing in the altered timeline is altered things that happen to us. And what happened to us we also changed. I talked to my sister recently, and I talked about my grandmother and how her grandfather came over from Yugoslavia. And then she told me that our grandmother, came over too. Now, my mother was the one who was part in genealogy, and she was the one who told me about that kind of stuff, and told me all about our ancestry, and told us the famous thing that the only closest famous thing that we had was one of our ancestors was supposed to marry Thomas Jefferson, but something happened in the mix and they couldn't get married, and one of them died. But supposedly our land is still mixed up with Thomas Jefferson's family. Just the land, not the actual genetics. But I think the Mandela effect was a different altered timeline. That certain people who have certain genes could remember both timelines in a positive way, where it doesn't really cause mental problems or anything else. I might be mistaken. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a person who loves learning. Okay? Now, in this reality, we have things happening in the news and all that kind of stuff. But it also could change people. Now, I looked at my baby pictures, and I only could see the left hand. I mean, I could only see the right hand. I didn't really get to see a lot of my left hand, so I have no idea what it would look like. But I do remember that my right hand was always dominant, and I was always told that when I write with it, because I've been trying to teach myself to write with both hands, so in case one of them gets damaged, I can always keep going with the other one. And I was told that once I write with my right hand, it looks so natural, like I was supposed to be right-handed. But during a time alteration, it might have changed it from right to left. That's why the way you act is different than a typical left-hand person. But I've always been a Taurus. That has always been true. I've always been made. I was always born during May, near May. So that was apparent. So, what is your take? Could this be possible? Could Mandela effect be part of a different time zone? A time zone that we crossed over by accident when someone went back in time to alter the state of events by bringing stuff from altered timelines into the present and causing a paradox problem that only people who have the right genetic code and the right blood type or whatever have. I just want your opinion on that. And this is my rant, but it's not really a rant, it's just a theory. Take it or leave it, and that's it. And that's what I'm just going to leave it to. Right now, the only thing I want to be focusing on is going to sleep from work. This is John Wiley signing off.